Osigwe, and I am quite a lot of things. I guess I started out as a drama, film and TV graduate who was a part-time makeup artist working at the Body Shop, and then I moved to Bobby Brown. And then after I graduated, I was a working actress, so I started doing like bit parts on TV like ITV, Sky. And then I realised quite quickly, I carried on training and I went to Lambda, I went to Identity Drama School, that it didn't matter how much you trained, it was really about who you know and whether you were castable. Being a brown-skinned black girl, I'm African Nigerian but London born. There just wasn't that many stories 12 years ago that we were like predominantly going to be featured in. If you think about EastEnders or The Bill, right up until like Hollywood blockbusters, where are black Africa, Caribbean women, British predominantly? There's always that tokenism, whether it was Naomi Harris or Tandy Newton, and it's like that one girl represents a generation. But something just happened last year. I got honoured by the Queen for my services to dermatology, which was incredible. Started 2 years into making Pre-May magazine. Had achieved some of the goals that I had set as like a 5-year, 10-year, 20-year goal within 5.5 years of setting up the company. And I just felt like, you know what, Claire, mission accomplished. You've kind of come, I came, I saw, I conquered, in the sense of I forced the industry to take vegan skincare seriously through doing a doctorate and proving that vegan skincare is modern medicine for the skin. Multi-award winning, touched loads of people's lives in all corners of the world. Like my products were going out to everywhere: Australia, Africa, Nigeria, like anywhere, South America, North America, through my website, through people coming to my clinic at Harley Street. And at that time, someone who I was she was a customer who became a friend. She phoned me one day in deep distress, and I was like, "What's up?" And she was like, "Well, a mutual male friend of ours, he's broken up with his girlfriend." I said, "Okay, I'm kind of expecting that relationship to come to an end because he'd been moaning about his girlfriend." "Yeah, but he literally offered me good dick and conversation." And I was like, whoa, he didn't actually say that. And she was like, "Yeah, he actually said that to me." And I was like, what kind of ages are we? Because I'm 32 now and she's 28 and he's 32. And I thought, what kind of ages are we when we're talking to big women like that? And secondly, that you really would have thought that she would actually be okay with that. That's so degrading. And in her mind, for her, it was clear. It was like, he would date and put a ring on, because him and his ex were engaged, women who are fair-skinned. But for dark-skinned girls, it's like good dick and conversation. Wow. So I was just like, this is like a mini film in my mind.
That was the inspiration.
That was the inspiration behind the film. Okay. So I was like, ooh, let me take some time out of my day and actually write this. So I wrote a short script, and I'd already told myself that you can't write, Claire. Who wants to read your writing? You've been out of the game for 6 years now. No one cares to hear from you. I thought, let me just write it. We'll see what happens. Wrote it, sent the script to about 5 to 10 women that I trust in the industry who are either writers or producers. They were like, you've got something, there's something here. Make a couple changes and it could be all right. So I made a couple changes and just went straight in for the kill. Just did a table read with a couple of actors. And during that table read, the first script was actually called Dick and Diamonds. The cast were like, whoa, this is a big deal. This is bigger than the short. You need to go away and write this as a feature. So I was like, just having that positive response from the cast was really, really awesome. So I recasted most of the roles, wrote the feature length within 6 weeks, and then we shot it in January. And so now I'm Clare Anyiam Osigwe, not the doctor or the skin doctor, but actually a filmmaker, writer, director, and I'm acting in the film, because that was what my first passion was. Within 10 minutes of putting out the press release about the film, I was called immediately by BBC World Services. And that was the day it was snowing. They were like, "Claire, we're putting you in a black cab. Where do you live? We need you to come onto the radio right away. This is a topical issue. The news just broke today in Ghana that a group of pregnant women are swallowing bleaching tablets to make sure that their unborn children will be born lighter skinned. And I felt physically ill just hearing that. I was still like, we need an expert to come and talk on this. Your film is so timely. So I think that kind of global response, whilst I was there, they were like, can you stick around for the 7 a.m. chat? And I was like, my God, yeah, okay. So sort of camping out at the BBC, but actually it was just for me like, this is an indie film. This is like a little conversation with a mate now has a connection with women in Ghana. And since then, the trickle-down effect, like I will get DMs from men as well as women on the No Shade Film handle saying, you know what, Claire, I don't know how deep this film goes, but just the fact that no one's ever done it and told a story like this in cinema, thank you for doing it. Can you come and show it in Ghana? Can you come and show it in Italy? One guy said that he's black, Ghanaian, his girlfriend is Italian, and she's from the south. And in the south, you have darker skin. So the northerners, the northern Italians call the southerners Africans, even though they are Italian as a derogatory term because they are negro, they are dark skinned. And he's like, the level of colorism, that's not even in the black community, that's in the white community. I was like, damn, that is kind of special. And I would love to tell that film in Naples and show it. So it just, for me, it really just was like kudos to the fact that the film topic has legs. I was worried about, oh, there's no names in the film, as in like, you know, really well-known actors. But it really doesn't matter. When you've got a film that is issue-based and is timely as well, and the stars have just aligned, you know, with the success of, say, Black Panther, and then you've got all these dark-skinned actors in one film, and the way it's been received, and in some countries rejected, but what it's done for the universal sort of confidence that dark-skinned actors and storylines can be, you know, major box office successes, I think is really, really poignant. But what we have to remember is that Wakanda is a fantasy and it's an adventure and it's a piece of fiction to be enjoyed. When we all walk out of that cinema, we're dealing with shadism, reality of colorism and racism and misogynoir, the mistreatment globally of black women every single day. You know, I know for a fact, like the other day we came out of the gym, so I wear wigs or hair extensions. I wasn't wearing my wig that day, and going to Tesco's, my local Tesco's who see me 2-3 times a week, I was being followed around. Like, and I'm thinking, you're watching me when there actually is, doesn't matter her race, but a white woman is blatantly putting things into her bag, but you're following me around the store. And just even just, hi, how are you, good afternoon, and then goodbye. No customer service at the till point because I have my natural afro hair. Yeah. And it is that unspoken, invisible, daily experience that people say, oh, you're always using the race card. You're all... No, baby, I live this. It's my life. It's not a choice. I'm just brown. I think that the line for me in my film, it says, no shade is superior. I think just knowing that everybody is unique, because for me, it's really about the fact that even my friends who are of mixed heritage or fair skin, it's that unwanted fetishism of their colour. And they will say to me, Claire, I find it so disrespectful and degrading that men will talk to me more than, say, another woman because I'm lighter than her. So in that moment, I discarded my personality, my achievements, who I am. So it goes two ways. It's not about saying that the pity party for black skin, you know, dark skinned black women, like, oh, please just like us or treat us better because we're dark. No, it's like, just treat me like a human being because we are a human race. And I think that's what's really special, is when you can say, no, everybody is on the same page. Let's just get to know each other with regards to vibes, energy, character, and how we get along, as opposed to just writing an entire race of women or men off because they are of a deeper shade than somebody else. No, I don't believe in rules of any description, apart from the ones that you make for yourself. I guess because my mind is still kind of heavily, like I'm always having like post-traumatic stress from being an entrepreneur. So I'd say, like, when I think about creatives, I think about business people being very creative, like Oprah, who I guess is a creative as well as an academic, as well as a businesswoman. I would say filmmakers like Gina Prince Bythewood. She's amazing with the Love and Basketball, because for me, those are the films that I watch every single year. Like, I will dedicate the whole first, like, Christmas Day up until about January the 10th, I religiously watch black romantic films. And there's nothing British for me to watch. So for me, I want to be that British storyteller who tells, you know, black romantic dramas, but for this generation. So that when my children are older, you know, once I start becoming a parent, they have got a back catalogue of films that they can watch and go, oh yeah, these are my classics, and do you remember that tune? And the way you felt when that person, you know, lived, died, smiled, laughed, you know, because we are much more than gun crime and, you know, drugs and violence. We do more than die as black British people, but that's not very well documented in our cinema. So more creatives that I find really cool. Obviously, all your standard, you know, people like Ryan Coogler and Ava. So impressive for them to be in a position now where they can be storytellers that are making movies with a £100 million budget or more. That's like sensational. And that's every filmmaker's dream.